Hello and welcome to part 5 of the NativShark Starter Guide. Now that we've done our first and second study days together, your path is clear. 1. Log into NativShark. 2. Press Study Now at least once. 3. Repeat the next day. NativShark will show you what you need to see when you need to see it, so all you really need to do is show up as consistently as possible. That said, there are a few important milestones along the way, so let's take a look at them so we can ensure a smooth path to our study goals. First off, we have Milestone 1. If you scroll down on your My Journey page, you'll see a list of units available to study, sorted by phases and milestones. We learn kana and some travel phases in the first milestone, and once we complete that, we start our in-depth look at kanji and begin learning vocab. Kanji can look a bit intimidating, especially as a beginner, but don't worry, you're not supposed to learn these overnight. It's just like the rest of the language, you'll get used to it with time and exposure. So when looking at kanji flashcards, just let them be a warm-up to a given kanji and worry about learning the kanji in vocab and lesson sentences that are in context. Also, you don't have to write kanji to learn them. Writing kanji is usually a lot of effort for not really that many gains. You'll learn kanji in words and sentences as long as you read just with the rest of Japanese naturally. So I wouldn't stress about them too much. However, if you're specifically interested in writing kanji, you should totally do it. But instead of writing the same kanji over and over and over, I've found that handwriting a journal about my day in Japanese is a really great way to practice this. It's nice because I get to practice writing kanji that are the most relevant to my life and my day, while also getting practice with forming Japanese sentences. So it's two birds, one stone. Either way, the vast majority of learners only ever really need to know how to write their name in katakana and maybe their address if they live in Japan. And while I probably would suggest memorizing your name in katakana, you don't really have to memorize your address in kanji because you can just look at your residence card when you live here and just copy off that or put it in a notebook. So if you do decide to write, I wouldn't be too concerned about taking a break from it if it becomes a little bit too much to keep up with every day. You can pick it up later down the road, really any time during your studies, whenever you feel motivation to do so. Milestone 6. From this milestone, we recommend going out into the wild and getting lots of exposure from native materials if you're not doing so already. So what are native materials? A native material is a piece of media designed for a native speaker of your target language, Japanese. This is different from a learning-focused resource, which is designed for learners of the language. So, for example, Japanese podcasts, YouTube channels, anime, manga, books, TV shows, and the news are all great examples of native materials. However, podcasts and YouTube channels that focus on teaching Japanese, graded readers, and textbooks are not native materials. They're learning-focused resources. NativShark is also a learning-focused resource. Anyway, we recommend native materials because they get you interacting with Japanese that you're interested in. And while they certainly can take more time to go through, native materials are one of the big reasons a lot of us are learning Japanese to begin with, so it's often just plain fun to go through them. For example, I love Nintendo and I've played so many Nintendo games in Japanese at every level of my studies. I won't say it was easy at the start. I had to spend a lot of time with a dictionary by my side, looking up all the words, trying to understand even just the gist of a lot of sentences. And some sentences I could just not understand. But that was okay because even when I couldn't fully understand things, I was getting review of words that I do know. I was learning a couple of new words along the way, and I was having fun playing my favorite video games. At the end of the day, we have to start somewhere. And one of the best ways to get proficient with something is doing it. Since NativShark is comprehensive, we're already covered by that in the learning-focused resource department. So that's why we recommend trying out native materials instead of doubling down on more learning-focused resources. We have a big guide on how to approach native materials once you reach Milestone 6, so I'll link that in the description. We also have a list of suggestions of what native materials to potentially try once you reach what milestones in NativShark, also down below. So good luck and don't take it too seriously. Native materials are part of the learning process. They're not like a test at the end. Aim to understand the gist of things. Get a reminder of the stuff you know, maybe learn a few new things along the way, and then just keep showing up to your studies. It will come with time. Our next big milestone is milestone 10, which marks the end of phase 1. Most learners find that they're able to pass the JLPT N4 at this point, but more on that in just a bit. Milestone 23. Milestone 23 is when you'll have seen all of the Jouyou kanji in NativShark, along with many other kanji not in that list. I'm pretty willing to bet that at this milestone, you're starting to rely a lot on kanji rather than being scared of them if you were at the start. Milestone 25. Milestone 25 marks the end of phase 2. At this point, you've done 513 NativShark units. To put that into perspective, if you went at the pretty fast pace of a unit a day, it would take you almost a year and 5 months to get here. Going at a more average pace, it would likely take around 2 years to get here. That's a lot of Japanese learned, but we still have more to learn. So next we have milestones 26 to 32. If you've also been keeping up with your native material studies, milestones 26 to 32 are about where you can expect to be able to pass the JLPT N2. We have a guide in the description all about the JLPT, including what it is and why you might or might not care about taking it. Milestones 41 to 49. Milestones 41 to 49 are about where you can expect to pass the JLPT N1, which is the highest level of the test. Again, this is still assuming that you've put enough time into your native material studies. Regardless of your ability to pass a standardized test, you'll find that you have a much deeper cultural and historical understanding of Japanese, along with having a much more functional ability in Japanese compared to the average person who can pass the JLPT N1. And that about sums it up. I hope you found these guides helpful. If you have any questions along the way, feel free to join the NativShark community Discord and ask them there. The Discord has both the NativShark team, including myself, alongside so many cool fellow language learners. Thank you for watching this guide and studying with us, and happy studies!
この番組はフューチャーラーニングメソッドネイティブシャークがお送りしました。